apostles. Apostolos, O-S, Omicron Sigma, is a singular term. Okay, so apostoloi, Omicron iota, which is the diphthong in Greek, is a plural term for apostles. But this word apostolos or apostoloi, it means sent out. The Hebrew word for the word apostle is the word shaliach. Shaliach is that Hebrew word that deals with the representative of a synagogue. Whenever the synagogue wanted to create projects or do something great, they sent a apostle out, a shaliach out, to establish a mission so that he can raise funds so that the synagogue can complete their assignment. So the word shaliach is synonymous to apostolos. So they're sent out by elders. They're sent out by the leaders of that synagogue or that facility. So when we talk about the apostles, every apostle is sent out. They have not went out on their own. Okay? We told you before, we have some mama called, some daddy sent. Some just got up on their own and went. But a true apostle is sent out, watch this, by an embassy. They're sent out as embassies. In other words, as ambassadors. And so this word submitted, servant, and sent is the making of the apostle. I'm an apostolic master key principle 14. The three words that you need to focus on is submitted, servant, and sent. This is the making of the apostle. So, Prophet Mike, when you think about the word submitted, servant, sent, those three S's, why is that crucial to make an apostle or a prophet? Submitted, servant, sent.
I think those are keys for an apostle and a prophet, because the first thing is submission. We're first supposed to submit to God, but if we look all through the Bible, when you had Moses, when you had even the apostles, they always had someone that God called them to submit to. So I believe that as you submit to another person, as the Bible also says that, you know, if you want your own, you have to first serve under somebody else. So I think the submission is what causes the person to be proven. So as you're submitting under that other person, it's also proving your character and who you are and maturing you to who you are. And then so after submission, then after you're submitted to that one person and after you're proven, then I think that's when you're able for the person that God has called you to the overseer will know that, okay, now it's your time to be sent out. And then as you're sent out, you would have the DNA or the stamp of the person that you were under. And then after you're sent out, serving. And as you're submitted to that person, you're also serving that person as well. If you look at Jesus, even Jesus with the disciples, they served with Jesus. They learned under Jesus. And I believe that serving makes you have you will be able to interact with people. You know how to work with people. You'll be more humble, because if you don't serve and you just come in it as the king, so to speak, then I believe that you won't really know how to lead, because you haven't served anything. It's just like, even if you think on a natural job, you'll be more powerful in your job if people seeing you be able to do what it is that you're asking other people to do. So I believe that service is very important, because you're not just telling people to do something that you're not familiar with. And then after you do those things, then you'll be able to be sent out with the stamp. And also, as you're sent out, if you're sent out with somebody that's over you, then I look at it as far as covering. So every person that's over you, you have a covering, or somebody that has been praying for you, somebody that you can come to when you have problems. So I think all these three things are very important, because it helps you when you're sent out, that you will be more powerful, you have more help. And I believe that you won't have, like I see today, like it's a lot of lone rangers, like people that just go out because they had a dream, or they said, you know, God told me to come out. But a lot of those people, once you see them go out, they have a lot of problems, and they end up giving up because they didn't serve, they didn't submit to another person, and then they weren't sent out. So if you don't have those things, I believe that to me, you're not stamped by God. You're doing it on your own. So if you're out there on your own, so I mean, to me, the picture that I see is like, okay, God calls you, right? So God has specific assignments that he wants you to do. Okay, you got to do, even in school, you got to go through first grade all the way to 12th grade. Then you get your diploma to be able to go out. But if you don't go through the process, then it's like God saying, okay, you go ahead. So basically, you in this warfare on your own.
So let me ask a question, because you said a mouthful of revelation. So how come, Prophet Kim, how come some people, they do the reverse? They instead of being submitted to somebody, instead of serving, they want to be sent out first. Yeah. And then when they fall and bust their head, they try to find somebody to serve. And then they try to find somebody to submit to. Why is that reverse chaotic orders happening to emerging apostles? Because I believe that God has called some people to be apostles and prophets. They are hearing what God is telling them to say and to share in the generation, but they don't know the process of what makes an apostle or prophet or even any other fivefold mentioned insignificant gift. So how come so many people are quick to be sent before they're serving or submitting to somebody?
Yes, amen, Apostle. I believe that a lot of people are doing it because of pride. Like, we think that we get a revelation from God, or God spoke to us, and automatically that means that we're ready. And it's just like when God was calling the leaders of the 12 tribes, and he told they were all quarreling amongst each other because everybody had a little bit of information, or a little bit of knowledge, because they walked with Moses, knew what the 12 commandments were, and God told them, okay, the 12 tribes, all your leaders bring the rods, and whichever one sprouts is the one that's going to be the next, leader. And so there wouldn't be any quarreling. And so when Aaron sprouted, God allowed his to, because he was submitted and because he had a resurrected life. And so if prophets and apostles can understand that in order to really do ministry well, we have to be submitted, we have to have a resurrected life, and we have to be proven before we go. And that allows us to have a long ministry, because the moment that even when Aaron, when he defied God, God removed his clothes and immediately he died. The ministry died. So there's no life in ministry without a resurrected, submitted life in service unto God for what he's called us to do.
Powerful and powerful. So Elder E, what are the dangers of when someone has an apostolic grace or prophetic grace? They've been receiving visions from God, dreams from God. Traveling prophets have been confirming things to them. Restaurant prophets, parking lot prophets have been confirming their ascension gift, but they have not found the local church to submit to or serve. What are the dangers when someone's just quickly start off a ministry as an apostle without the credibility of submitting to someone and serving someone? In other words, they're spin-offs, but they're not sent off. So what is the danger of being a spin-off ministry and not a sent-off ministry?
Yes, I would definitely say the danger of being a spin-off ministry is when you forsake or skip the steps of being submitted to a higher authority or another, man of God, that leader can see things in you prior to you being sent out. So, for example, they can see pride in you. They can see self-righteous in you. They can see lust in you. They have the discernment to see certain things in you that when you go out, you won't be operating in those things. And then another thing is that apostolic, when you serve somebody for a particular period of time, and when it's time for you to be sent out, if you skip the steps, then you won't last long in ministry, I believe, because you're not moving in the same grace as that particular apostle. So if you get souls underneath you that are quickly following you, then they're really lost.